Blue Radio, bringing the vibe. I'm speaking to one David Major with an amazing story of going through the gutter and back. David, you told me your mother takes you to the TPF, and that's your late mom, for those, who don't know, but we'll get to that later on. Takes you to the TPF, gets you registered.
For a parent to introduce their child, especially during our era, I would say, to that opportunity that's available on TV, like, hey, put the books aside, Kidogo, and like, how about you go and audition for a music show? I feel like that was a pretty big deal, actually. So she's the reason I actually auditioned. Without her, I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have been a part of the second season. That opened the door to essentially my music career, let me call it. Yeah.
And now you're at a TPF. I know most of us have watched that season because I did follow it very religiously. It was the biggest thing in East Africa. You were there and things are rolling. And tell us about the competition. Did it in any way affect your lifestyle, who you are, or who you became later on?
Most definitely. I would say in the sense that it was a platform, a much needed one for creatives of my kind, basically musicians. And it went on to be our own cherished thing, sort of like there's America's Got Talent, or there was Idols, or abroad. We got to have ours here in Africa, here at home.
Yep.
Yes, and by the time I came out, I grew musically. I learned quite a lot, and I left feeling like a superstar. That's for sure.
Left feeling like a superstar and started acting like one. You were out in the market.
Yeah.
Kila mtu anajua who is David Major, like mtani tambua.
Once they put you out there, indeed, yeah, you have to know how to or learn. Actually, it's a process. Grow into learning how to be to play the part, basically.
So did phone calls come in from corporates, from gigs and all that? And how did that then transform you to become, as you say, a superstar? Because I remember it used to say, I am a superstar somewhere.
I'm a superstar.
Don't mind the voice intonation.
Not at all. You should have auditioned yourself. That's not bad, my friend.
I do well, especially in the shower. So let's stick to you.
The shower. Okay. It was with that kind of exposure, especially it being a TV show. In the beginning, there were quite a few calls, people approaching you. Some were legit, some were just all talk, basically. And there was work. There was work for a while. And some corporate, some, let's just say non-corporate, basically, just making appearances at clubs or performing at personal events such as weddings or, that sort of thing. Birthdays. And it went well for a while, actually, yeah.
Until? Because you've said it went on for a while.
Life just happens to you. I think the loss of my mom was the biggest hit, really, and that was sort of was sort of building up. It didn't just happen at once. Cancer is this horrific disease that gnaws away at you in its own unique way, depending on the type of person you are. And she was quite a strong woman, so was breast cancer. When it first hit, she fought it back, and they said she was healed, and being faithful Christians, thanks to our mother, that's how we were raised. We prayed for the best. We prayed for our people, actually, and hope that was it. But then to ugly battle, just back and forth over a long period of time, and then eventually it was over.
So, yeah. David, I don't want to seem like I'm trying to reopen wounds, but sometimes you have to go back to memory lane to see how far you've come and just what you've been able to walk through. And probably sharing your story with us will help encourage a few people that are tuned in to listen to your story, basically. Let me go back to your mom's story, Dr.
Ogola, actually.
And she wrote amazing stories. And, through her stories, one of the other stories, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she tackled something to do with HIV in one of her writings. And now you're here dealing with cancer. As a family, you received this news. What was the first reaction you people had?
Oh, my goodness, it's cancer. And from what we knew, how we'd been educated, what we've been exposed to, we just knew that this was something serious and not to be taken lightly. We were horrified, basically.
For those who have no idea, Kenya doesn't have one of the best, facilities around. And if so, it's a very expensive affair. Talk to me about the finances that went into this, David. Did you try traveling out of the country? Because a lot of people say, no, you have to go to India. I don't know. Everybody comes with a solution.
Being a doctor herself, she had access to information or connections that helped begin the journey with the necessary kind of treatment or beginning point. But eventually the last battle was fought in India, as you've mentioned. You've mentioned a few places, actually. And apparently there was a kind of treatment they were experimenting with on that side that was said to be hopeful. And her cancer was in remission, actually, when she came back for a while before we finally said our last goodbye.
Where were you when you received the news of your mom passing on?
Yeah, my memory is not the best these days, but as I recall, I was with my best friend, someone I was in college with. We just come from doing a job. I think we'd recorded a radio jingle at a studio, and we decided to go out and celebrate that night, just to blow off some steam, deal with the stress. Because around that time we knew things were pretty bad. So yeah, I was with them. We were out somewhere at a club somewhere. I can't remember which one exactly. When I got the call. Yeah.
And now you have to start a new journey with your mom gone. David, how did you manage? Because in your past interviews I've been able to go through, you talk about, becoming this regular drinker to an addict, and eventually you become hooked. Was that the source of your, change, if I'll call it, to become a regular drinker to an addicted drinker?
But I say that was I think it had been building up, and at that particular point now, I guess I could say I was at my worst.
Looking back, David, and being through the journey, would you say that this journey has probably shaped you to be better, or it took the best out of you?
It's a double-edged sword right there. Oh, both. both actually. It took the best out of me, and I don't even know how to describe that, but yeah, it did take the best out of me. Like I said, my mom was a huge part of my life, from nurturing who I am as a person to my God-given gift of being an artist, to everything else, just being a mother and everything else that was required of her. And then losing her was the other side of it. I was unaware how much until I hit rock bottom and couldn't go beyond that.
So David, you're there and you're out in the cold. Did you have friends that you spent time with checking on you, or were you a man on your own?
That was a difficult time for the world as a whole, actually. It was during COVID, and everyone was dealing with problems of their own, just as human beings, as you'd expect. And then, having COVID as an epidemic thrown onto that. And here I was in my situation, looking for work. There's no work to be given. Industries have taken a hit, as I had earlier mentioned. There was no room for me because people were tending to their own family members, the closest people, the people within their circle. So I just had to survive, really. I just had to hang in there. And depression just got the best of me, rather. And I just had to wait it out, basically. I went from trying to not wanting to bother people, let me put it that way. Just trying to wait for the worst of this thing to be over, and then life to go back to normal, hopefully, which it did. Just a testament to God's realness. Itself and in all of us as human beings.
David Major there giving his story, and before I let him go, because clearly he can't stay through the show, he's had already a very busy morning and busy night, I will ask you one question, sir. Through all this, you managed to walk out unscratched, if I can call it. Of course, there are things you lost along the way. Probably there are relationships you lost along the way. But is there some great lesson you derived out of this?
Unscratched? I wouldn't say unscratched. There were a lot of failures. There were a lot of losses in terms of financially, as a person, who I am, what I was put on this earth to do, my sense of purpose, friends. When you have no sense of who you are, or no sense of purpose, really, you're sort of just an island on your own. People are sort of trying to live their lives and trying to make sense of it all by themselves, and positive vibes, or rather good, let me just call it good, tends to attract good, So I read this thing somewhere that basically goes because I don't think I'm quoting it right. You can't appreciate the light without there being darkness. And going through all of that has just introduced me to myself again, but a newer side of myself, actually. Sense of clarity now, wisdom. I'm more appreciative of things now than I was then. Especially the value of life itself and the things that truly matter.
Awesome. That is, I have no words. I'm lost. You can feel that. I'm just listening to your story and I'm amazed. I'm amazed that you are still very able to share this. It's a difficult thing to do. But I do hope and pray that as you move forward, you will be able to master your art once again, and everybody that will come across you will feel David with a new fresh breath. So David, any last thoughts before we let you go?
Those last words you just shared, those were very kind and honest words, man. The process itself has already begun. The people that are meant to stay remain, in terms of friendships and what you can call true love, and the ones that are meant to fall by the wayside if you can keep going. And my passion is coming back to me. My voice, which I lost, came back to me. That was the most scariest thing to go through, more so than the physical scars themselves. And I'm on that journey again. And I'm most thankful to God for that.
On that journey again, says David, and thankful to God. Thank you so much for coming through, sir. I do wish you a great rest. You need to rest because, as an artist, that is the most important aspect of working, rest. So better get enough rest. And great day to you, sir.
Nothing to take for granted, indeed. Yeah, thanks for having me, Eli.
Thank you for coming back again. Hoping and wishing to see you again on another space. Take care, sir.
It would be a pleasure. You too.
Okay, ciao. That was, of course, David Major, and we'll be bouncing out, and we do hope that things work out better and better. For now, I bring you to Meshinda by Eunice Njeri. Do enjoy the rest of the listening.